Hey everybody, it's Christine at Seedman Development, and today I'd like to walk you through a way that you can work with the canvassed by field from the EveryAction activity type of contact history using Importacular to import your EveryAction data into the Razor's Edge. So the canvas by field is an ID number that comes out of EveryAction. And the ID number doesn't line up with their van ID, and it's a little bit challenging in that regard. However, you will see the same ID number for the same canvasser every time. So what you can do is looking at your data and looking at your users, figure out which ID number went with which of your users in EveryAction created that action or that contact, And then what you can do in Importacular is if you're working with a solicitor to track that canvas by, you can see that I have linked my canvas by field to all of my required fields and also to my constituent ID. Now, just a word of caution here. When you do this for things like the first name and the last name, if those are required, make sure that you uncheck the boxes for both new and existing. That will help you avoid a really bad data mistake. You do not want to overwrite your existing solicitors with numbers. You do not want to add a new solicitor with a number. So this system does require these people to already be solicitors in the Razor's Edge, and it does require you paying attention to this detail. The other thing that you will see is that I have linked that canvassed by ID to my Razor's Edge constituent ID. Now that is not going to be the same ID. The chances of that are statistically pretty impossible. However, we do have the option here to work with a data transformation, which means that I can say, take this canvas by ID out of EveryAction and use this Razor's Edge constituent ID. So for reference, this ID in the from source is my canvas by ID for myself in EveryAction. And this ID is my Razor's Edge constituent ID as well. So this is going to match to my account as a solicitor in the Razor's Edge. So we're going to go ahead and save that just so you can see how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and save this mapping. We are going to save and close. And I'm going to click continue, match that data, and that way I can show you what that looks like on that solicitor tab. So you can see I've got all my different constituents there. And if I come to this tab here, you can see that my first two records here do not have a contact there. They're blank. And all of the rest of my records are people that I created the contacts for because it's my sample database and I was doing some work there. If I click on that, you can see this has linked to my Razor's Edge account. So you can see very clearly there, that's using that data transformation to pull my Razor's Edge constituent ID. Now, you can see my EveryAction canvas by ID here, but that will not change my Razor's Edge account when we import because I set those fields to not update. Now, if you have other records, so if we scroll down, you can see I do have a couple of other people who have done some work in my system that I did not build data transformations for. So I don't know who those IDs belong to, but they're not matching to Razor's Edge. So in order for me to complete this import, I will need to go into EveryAction and figure out who contacted Chris Bacon and create a data transformation. That'll fix Chris Bacon and Lloyd. But then I still need to figure out who contacted Testy Testerson and build a transformation for that. So there's definitely some work to do as you build those transformations. But once you have those ID numbers for all of your users set up in that data transformation table, it will allow you to link it exactly coming through and you can add those solicitors. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful and I hope that you have a great day. Bye.